go.
Okay, we don't waste no time. We don't waste no time in season 2. Let's get right into it. Fellas, we are less than a week away from our country, the US of A, bringing home the gold, many golds in many sports, overall medal leader of the Olympics. We are winners.
There
But
you
we
go.
got a gold in basketball for both men's and women's. You already know what
There
it
you go.
is.
There you go.
I want to start off this special episode, fellas. Talk to me. Reactions to the run. There was group play, there was exhibitions, and then we got into the actual tournament. I want to know about the run, semifinals versus Serbia, and the goal game against France. Tell me your reactions. Alan, I'm gonna start with you.
Yeah, bro. First, let me shout out to the women, like you said. They cemented another dynasty moment. They haven't lost since well before any of us were born. So that's crazy.
I believe it's 16 straight gold medals. 16, I believe.
Crazy.
That's
Crazy.
fantastic.
If you multiply that by 4, because the 4 years Olympics, that's
64.
crazy. That's a long time without losing.
Wait.
Um,
Is that
oh, actually, it's not all Olympics. Some of that's World Championships. You're
okay?
right.
I was gonna say. I'm
But
like,
still.
wait a second. All right.
But reactions to the runs. We can cover what men's and women's runs. Start with the men's.
Fire. It was fire. I think the Olympics and world basketball have become so much better to watch. I think it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching other countries as well. So it was just the fire Olympics, I think.
Word. Andre, reactions to the runs, gold medal runs, Serbia game, France game.
First, let me say this about the France game. Steph Curry is not human.
Built for Wardell.
Steph Curry is not. And remember, the operative phrase in his first name is war. That man is built for war. All right. He's built to take home gold medals. All right. What he did was, I would say it's ungodly, but only God can do that. That's a holy behavior.
Through God, I can do all things.
Amen. All right. Let me say this. That man was doing things I never, bro. What a wild shot. Anybody else would be like, that's a chuck. Not with Steph Curry. That's a well-calculated, that's a good shot. That's a good shot. Paul George would be up here saying that's a bad shot. Not for Steph. Not for Steph. Come on, man. Now, overall, I was very, very happy that we brought home gold, because I'm not going to lie. There were moments where I thought, damn, we really might not do it. There were some moments.
Shout out to South Sudan, man.
Huh?
Shout out to South Sudan, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
South Sudan.
Let me say this: the world is not as behind as we used to believe it was. All right, not in this sport. Not in this sport. Not when arguably the best player in basketball is not from the US of A. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to 2024. Shout out to bringing home gold. But I'm not to be pessimistic. I'm a little worried about 2028. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, well, we'll get there. Paul, reactions to the run. I know you had a lot of feelings about the Serbia game. If you want to start us there,
He did.
That Serbia game, right?
Woo! Maybe top 5 game I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
That France game was different.
No, that France game is also top 5.
That France game was crazy.
Talk to me about Serbia.
I mean, listen, man. They put up a fight. I did think they were going to lose that game. I'm not going to hold you. I thought Serbia got them.
It wasn't for Braun, man. Braun and Curry.
Yeah, they were so happy to get bronze.
We got to give some love. It was Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor.
Yeah, that's a fact. But like Andre said, the rest of the world caught up, man. Like, I know you want me to talk about that Serbia game, but that France game.
We'll get there. I want to get some takes. Listen, because Serbia, I think everyone that was tuned in at home was holding their breath a little bit. I know I was at work and I stepped out of the main room in which I work that you all know, and it wasn't easy to sneak out of there. And I went to a side room and pulled my phone, locked the door, and I was screaming, but silently. Like I was like yelling, but I didn't let any audio come out. So I was just in this room, like.
So let me say this, right?
Craziness.
What that Serbia game, that France game, that South Sudan exhibition. That's what I want to see from international basketball.
Mm.
I want to see that competition. I want to see.
Yeah.
No Lions talking all that talk about, oh, we're not the world champion.
I hope we wouldn't
Now
bring his
let's-
name up. I hope we wouldn't.
Listen, we got to. We got to. He's one of the biggest haters on Team USA basketball. So we got to. But you can't say anything now because the rest of the world is catching up.
What they gonna
And
say now?
We hope he heals
What
up.
they gonna
also.
say now?
Let's just say we hope he heals up. We do
So he was
want,
thinking
we want track and field to rise to the levels that he's clearly trying to bring it to. So we're on board with that. We just hope that it's not at the
Heal up. I
expense.
thought it was just COVID.
I mean, listen, you
no,
still
no.
got to say heal up for COVID. You still
That's true.
Wait, didn't
He
he
had
have
like
another
16
injury?
hours.
Didn't he have
Another
another
injury?
injury too?
I think so. Yeah. Well, because he has asthma. So for him, getting COVID is a
Oh,
serious.
no,
yeah,
no,
that's like
real.
yeah.
I've been there.
yeah, it's not a
awful.
game. So we
It's
really
awful.
hope he heals up. We want to see him
By the
back
way,
getting golds
To be that nice with asthma and track and field is
Yeah, that's
on,
fantastic.
on everything. So
He's
listen,
him, like
we're rooting for Noah Lyles. We want Noah Lyles to do well. We just had maybe a difference of opinion, and we also think it's probably not the greatest strategy to put yourself at odds with the most popular athletes in your home country. Maybe only second to football quarterbacks and just quarterbacks.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. LeBron might be the most popular athlete.
I mean, when you say LeBron versus Tom Brady, it's an argument, right? So like to do like comparisons, right, in terms of popularity. So
And the fact that LeBron was the best player in almost every game at
talk about it.
40 years old is ridiculous.
is insane. Well, not
It's
the last
I was
two.
shocked.
Not
I'm
the
not
last
gonna
two.
hold you. I thought some of these other players were gonna step up and like
me too.
carry the load.
That's why I'm a little worried about
Hold on.
2028.
I want to get to that because
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about what we learned about this generation of U.S. superstars who have dubbed themselves the Avengers. We had the Dream Team, the Redeem Team, and these guys are apparently the Avengers. We'll get to that, but I want to really break down that Serbia game. So I'm gonna come back to you, Alan. Bogdan Bogdanovic
Problem.
throwing the threes to his temple. Jokic being more of a pure big man than we really ever see him be, but still
Correct.
being Jokic.
Yeah.
What was going right for Serbia, and what ultimately was the adjustment that you saw the U.S. make to allow them to be victorious?
The adjustment they made. Don't boo me. The refs.
Oh no.
Who's this man?
Oh no.
Paul, do we have a boo button?
That's
let
LeBron's
me stop.
specialty. What
I'm
do you
joking.
mean?
I'm-
I've seen it
I'm
several
like-
times.
I'm mostly joking, but if you ask the Serbians, they think they should have been in the gold medal. That's why they're so happy. I don't know if y'all heard it, but after the bronze medal match, the Serbian coach was saying that was the
Yeah.
real gold medal match because like the French team also had like a questionable call. But anyway, I think he's salty. But yeah. So I think what worked really well for Serbia and all of them was they really slowed the game down.
Yes.
You couldn't take them out of like their pace. And obviously, when you got Jokic doing what he wants to do, who I think is still the best player in the world right now, after what I saw from him in the Olympics, like you can't stop him. So when he's making like literally like I don't like, for lack of disrespect, like these lower talent people like look that nice where they're making like all mad jump shots and everything. Like, of course, they give the USA trouble. And on top of everything else, like when you playing like the Olympic game, it seems to be a little bit more physical, and I think that kind of takes USA out of it because they're used to like some things being like foul calls and scoring a little bit easier. So I think all that kind of took them out of it. And on top of everything too, they had like turnovers, a lot of turnovers too. So I think we put all that together. It's not like too surprising that Serbia was up by like 14, but I'm just happy it was able to come back. I think the talent level itself is enough. When you have that much talent on the team, it's just enough to win anything. To win any game.
Was it all talent though, Dre? They were down 17 going into the fourth, and with 5 minutes left, they were down 7. Talk to me about, one of me and you's favorite words, execution. Talk to me about the execution that USA engaged in that last stretch of the fourth quarter to get the dub. What did you see?
Well, one thing I saw that was huge was the uptick in transition basketball, and it starts on the defense, honestly. And when you talk about transition basketball, the number one leader that comes to mind LeBron James, King James. Okay, he is the guy that he has done it several times in his career, and he did it right now, where he is able to turn around whole series with how he's able to affect. I think it was in the Serbia game where he blocked the living hell off the backboard.
Oh God!
What
God!
What a page turner! He in his career, he has had some of the best blocks I've ever seen. These chase down blocks, and it's always you never see it coming, and it does the same thing. It demoralizes the other team in such a way, and it's just something guys feed off of. So in terms of execution, that was such a timely block on defense, but being able to turn around, and now they're so worried about shooting because that's when Steph Curry starts going off. LeBron's able to go in more, a lot more.
Let me jump in real quick on that point to emphasize. The thing about the LeBron pin block is that he used to just pin it and take the rebound himself, but now in an older age, what he does now that's really effective, people don't pick up on, is he intentionally blocks it off the glass with with velocity. So essentially, his block quite literally creates a fast break because he blocks it so hard that it bounds off the glass. As long as his teammate gets it, they're already in a semi break.
Correct.
But continue.
Correct. So it literally opening up the offense, and they're able to take advantage of that. They have shooters in timely places. Devin Booker being able to, throughout the whole game.
Shout out Devin Booker, man.
Shout out Devin Booker.
I'm going to come back to Book.
Shout out Devin Booker.
Yeah.
To be able to hold your spot the whole game, even when you're not getting touches, to be able to create such consistent offense, not getting your bag. There are players on his team that would not be able to do that.
He was a screener.
He was a screener throughout. So being able to really play in your own. Listen, there are guys on Team USA that would not have been able to do that. There are guys that we want to give the face of the league to that would not have been able to do that. So shout out to Devin Booker for real. But sorry, the last thing I was going to say, I think it's super, super relevant. And going off of Alan's point, because I wanted to say this, but I want to let him finish. I was talking about not getting as many calls. That's a worry point for me, because when you're not getting those calls and you're coming down the stretch, who are the two guys, or maybe three guys if you want to count KD in that were able to consistently like play through? The guys that have been there,
make shots.
The guys that have been like, I don't need the call. This is why 8. You don't just get. There are 8 championships between them. 14 finals runs. 14. 10, no, I'm sorry. 10, I take back 10. 17. 17.
There are 10 rings between them.
10. No.
Not like individual, but like each. If you count all of their rings.
I know 4 each. No. Oh, I'm sorry. KD in there. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. You're right. 17 finals runs. You don't just get that by being like, oh, what do I do when I get hit? You play through it. But we don't have that experience. There's a gap. And this is why, and Alan, I completely agree with you. In a lot of minds, it's a respectable position that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. But after these Olympics, I'm sorry, y'all. You can hate me if you want. LeBron James is the best player in the world.
Still.
LeBron James is the best player in the world.
Still.
James, he's still this is the problem. He's still the face. We were talking about before.
He's the face
everything
of
I said about
basketball.
Jason Tatum. I'm sorry. He will be, but it's LeBron's league. It's LeBron's league.
LeBron's
in fact,
world.
I'm not gonna lie. It's LeBron's sport.
It's his world. He was the flag bearer for USA in the Olympics.
That is fire. That is fire.
It's his sport, bro. This is his.
I'm sorry.
It was never more evident to me than with the entire world catching up. We are literally crowning him in front of the rest of the basket. It's his sport, bro.
That is crazy.
Let me go to Paul here. Paul,
he's 40 years old.
That is crazy.
I want to tee you up for something you love to talk about. I want to tee Paul up for something he loves to talk about: matchups and spacing. Talk to me about, because I think Andre set this up really well. Going off Alan's point, you know, the younger superstars who are foul baiters, they'll remain nameless right now, who are tricksters. They had to, when it got tight and it was about going and getting a bucket, it was Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor that orchestrated possessions to get people in their spots to make shots. So talk to me about what you saw out of Steph, LeBron, and KD down the stretch in those possessions to seemingly every single time get exactly the shot they wanted, and it being a great shot. It was Steph for a catch and shoot behind a screen, KD for his mid-range pull-up, and LeBron getting his transition layups. Talk to me about how they set those plays up, because we can say talent, but I think if you really watch the tape, there was instinctual communication amongst primarily those three guys.
Yes.
Talk to me about what they identified and how they got it done.
Before I say that, though, let me say this. I think because we kind of looking back at the Olympics as like some type of like we're looking at it with like it was just a glorious time. But if you really think about it, almost everybody was shooting badly except for LeBron for most of the Olympics, right?
LeBron and AD, yeah.
And AD.
Yeah.
AD
Don't give me the way AD was robbed of what his role on this team should have been. But I mean, shout out to Embiid, because during the France game he went crazy, and the Serbia game too. He had a big fourth quarter. But
he did.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But yeah, like I think the biggest difference was the intensity on the defensive end. That's what changed it. When they start taking it seriously and respecting these guys that they're playing against, that's when they put their foots on their neck, right?
Yeah, but they still had to come down and get the bucket. Tell me
now
how
get in
they
the
were
bucket
getting the buckets.
Now get in the buckets now, all right? I think what we saw, I don't know what was going on in them Team USA practices. All right, I have no clue.
I do.
I do. What was going on?
People were throwing it off the wall.
Let him land. Let him land.
Closing their eyes, throwing them behind. Like they were having fun.
Let him land.
I mean, he could be right though, because the thing is, I think what we saw from Steph, KD, and LeBron are like 15 years of camaraderie.
Yes,
Steph and KD played together, right? LeBron and Steph played together in multiple All-Star games, right? And they played on Team USA before. LeBron and KD been playing with each other for almost 20 years. They know, first of all, LeBron is the ultimate point guard and has the highest IQ maybe ever. So he knows how to utilize Steph and KD to the best of their abilities, right? So that viral clip that's going around of LeBron dribbling to Steph knowing to backdoor, and then Embiid setting the off-ball screen for KD.
Bam.
It was I think it was Joel. Wasn't it Joel?
Bam. It was Bam. Bam. You know Embiid don't send no damn screens. Bam. You know Miami. Bam from that Miami motion offense. He knows when he sees a cutter through to set the pin down. Yep.
Yeah, he said that, and then he said that off-ball screen for KD for that open three at the wing. Like that's just knowing how to play with each other. And I think Tatum, to a lesser degree because he barely played, Anthony Edwards, who else?
Ant, I think it's a big one because I think Ant, when it was like talent games, his talent came through. But I think part of why he wasn't a part of that unit is what you're talking about. That the unit that would close the games. They were veterans to a level where like they're just anticipation of each other.
Yes,
was so strong.
Yes, which is why I'm saying I don't know what was going on in them practices, because I don't know if it was like the younger guys weren't practicing as much or taking it as seriously because they thought they were going to watch the world in the Olympics, or they just didn't have the time.
Can I make a suggestion of what I think it is?
Because
I think you're right on it, but I think what you're identifying as camaraderie, I think, is attention to detail from this perspective, right? Those three are all champions. Joel Embiid has been, in the league for a long time, and Devin Booker has made a finals run and has been around Chris Pauls of the world. Joel Embiid has been around the Jimmy Butlers of the world, right? All those guys represent an era of basketball where film study was still mandatory. So I think it's less that they have 20 to 15 years playing with each other in via Olympics or All-Star games. I think they know each other so well because they've been scouting each other their entire careers. LeBron knows Curry and KD so well because he's been trying to defeat them for the better part of 12 years. Same thing with Curry and KD, and I think even to a degree, Joel. I think people sleep on how much of a veteran Joel is because he was hurt for so long. But Joel's going on, I believe, year 14, either 13, 14, or 15.
No way.
Has to be because AD is going into year. I believe 12 or 13. And
AD's been around a minute.
Yeah, Joel came in 2014.
Yeah.
So
Year
okay, so
10?
he's going into year
Yeah.
10, but Booker no, because Booker's also going into year 10, so that can't be right.
Nah, they came in the same year, I think.
Yeah, they're same draft
Nah.
class. They're same draft
Oh,
class.
they are?
Yeah,
Carl
yeah,
Anthony
because
Towns.
Cat went one. and
Okay,
Cat,
okay.
Cat
All right,
and
but
Booker
to that point,
teammates.
they're going into they've been in the league for a decade, right? Joel and Book.
You about to scare me.
The rest of those guys have been playing against each other for so long. So when you've been trying to stop someone doing something, who better knows how to help them do it, right?
Right.
Who better knows exactly where Steph needs the ball than Bron, who's been trying to teach his teammates for a decade how to stop
him
from getting these balls, right? And you know who also told me that that's what it was? Someone who was in the crowd who also had played against or with all those players
Carmelo.
for a decade. Carmelo
Yeah.
Anthony. Carmelo Anthony,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it coaching. I just want to call it, he was basically like a play-by-play analyst. Like he was yelling it out as if it was a direction, but really if he had a mic, he basically just be explaining to you what was happening. But he understood everything. And like you could tell by his affirmation of how the end of the actions were set up. And how he was like, yes, do it, go every time. It's like even he understood, like, that's exactly where I want Bron to have it. That's exactly where KD should get it. Would call things out, and then when someone would get the ball in a certain spot, he'd be like, do it, right? So there was there was this awareness of each other's strengths. There was this awareness of each other's strengths and tendencies that shone through that we don't know Ant that well yet. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know Tatum that well yet. We don't know.
Morant's not here either. Just saying.
Right. We don't know that well. One, all your games are still developing.
Right.
That's one. You don't even really know who you are yet. Right. You're still figuring it out. A lot of you are having your coming out moments in international play, figuring out what really level you need to be at, what role you are in the American pantheon. Those guys already know that they're secure and they got to it. So I think that's exactly what you were identifying, but I just wanted to offer from a different perspective. To tie up just reactions to the game, let's give some time to the frame. For a minute there in the beginning, it looked like Wemby was finna announce himself to the world.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
But then he began to struggle. What were you seeing from France that was allowing them to keep up, but ultimately wasn't enough to give them over the hump, Alan?
Oh my God, from France. I don't know. France was an interesting team to me. I was trying to figure out what it is with them that made them good, but also somebody couldn't keep up with Team USA. And I don't think they have they couldn't offensively match up with them. I don't think they had enough scoring to keep up with Team USA.
No.
But I do think their defense was pretty good. And you could even see it with the lineups. They took out Rudy Gobert in like the first quarter. He never came back into the game.
I wonder why. How many teams and coaches have to make the decision that I can't play this guy for y'all to believe what I'm saying?
So they just don't have enough scoring to keep the fact after, because I didn't really watch them throughout like the tournament that much. I just didn't get to see their games. But like, so I was trying to figure out like how the hell did they even get to like the finals? And then I heard before they were having like issues with the team too. So I don't know how they made it to the finals.
Wemby.
But it turns out they just don't have. Yeah, Wemby is just nice. That's really good.
Listen. If
Wemby's
they don't
nice.
watch out, everything I was saying about LeBron before, they're gonna be saying about Wemby.
We'll get to
But
it.
Wemby,
We'll get to it.
Just like Farrah said, Wemby almost announced himself. I think this was like the prequel to the Wemby party. I think next Olympics or maybe even next World Cup, the U.S. might have a problem with him. He might be the one to like knock the USA out, and I think he really wants to do it. So I think France get a little bit more scoring besides Wemby and Fournier, and I think they're in a better position. But other than that, man.
Well, let me go to Dre, because I have a sneaky suspicion that the leading scorer of that game might be a Zoe.
Probably.
And I want to get his name right. I want to get his name right. Gershon Yabusele
He played in the NBA, right?
for the
Probably.
Celtics for like a hot minute.
Yeah,
Gershon Yabusele
dunking on LeBron and whatnot.
Oh,
We
him.
didn't see that. We didn't see that.
Oh,
Talk
now
to me
you didn't see
about.
that. I thought that was.
Talk
I
to
thought
me
it was
about
over
why
after that.
Talk to me about why that matchup was working from potentially your fellow Zol. Something about him tells me Creole.
Listen, all right. Well, first and foremost, there's a he reminded me about a lot like Lou Dort, if I'm going to be honest.
No,
He really, really did. And that's why it works so well, because of the same kind of play. That stocky, strong, able to listen. Okay. There's something about Haitian soup, bro. Okay. There's something about He's a Burik, okay? He knows what he's doing. And not a Malburik either. All right. He knows what he's doing.
Why was he so successful? What was the matchup issue for him with USA that allowed him to be productive?
LeBron's old. That's actually
LeBron was clamping Jokic in the fourth quarter of the game
LeBron
before.
Was. No, but honestly, that's the vitality.
He was.
No, he was. But honestly, just from a matchup standpoint, he was able to sneak in a lot more. He's short. He's like 6'8", right? So he's able to move in a lot of ways, but he's also so incredibly strong, and he's able to take a lot of these hits, and he's able to play in a more like physical kind of way that a lot of the USA was not actually matching up with. Letting him get in and get into the dunker spot, get timely steals. Just being a presence, kind of like Jokic was actually, except much shorter. Like Jokic was able to move his body around and not necessarily be a shot blocker, but just be present in the paint. This guy was able to do that, except a lot quicker. So he's able to move his feet. You know what I'm saying? And on the offensive standpoint, he didn't have to. I don't remember if he shot that many threes, if I'm being honest.
He made a couple timely ones that kept him in early. Yeah,
but he's in the 2K community, they call him a back end build. That's what he is. The 6'8" strong. Crazy. No, that's what it's called. Listen, you can Google it. You can Google it. He's a 6'8".
I don't want those cookies. I don't want those cookies in my cash.
Listen, man. He's a
6'8".
Back. It's like the. Remember my linebacker build?
Yo,
yeah,
yo, Kingfish.
That's him. That's him. That's what he does.
French fish.
So he's just here.
Haitian fish.
Malburik. All right. That's who he is, man. He's just here. He's just here to be a defensive menace. That's what he is. He's a menace. That's who he is.
Paul, close us out with the gold medal game. Tell to me about French mixing up their defenses. They tried a little zone. That looked interesting for a while. Eventually, they tried their man. They just seemed they got overpowered. And talk to me about Steph Curry's 3 minutes finish.
All right. So the thing about France, right? I disagree they don't have enough scoring because they clearly are used to playing with that FIBA ball. They were shooting most teams shot better than not most, but a lot of teams shot better.
A lot of teams did.
Then
Serbia did overall.
Good Lord, they made so many damn threes.
So many threes.
Yes. Because they're used to that ball. They're used to that ball. So that's the first thing. The second thing, at some point, I think these coaches, including Pop, are afraid are afraid to unleash Victor Wembanyama.
Why? Tell me about
Are they afraid, or was Pop just trying to conserve his young bull?
But all right, but the France coaches do the same thing in my opinion.
I think the French coach probably is afraid.
Yes.
Either
tell
way,
me about that decision. Why are they afraid?
Well, because of his build, number one. Number two, he's still young in the game. But at the same time, it's like every time he gets the ball, especially later on in the previous NBA season that just ended, as the season went along, it was like every time he got the ball, something crazy happened. Like he's shooting a three that you can't stop. You can't contest. He's getting in the paint. He's crossing somebody up. He's taking one step from the free throw line, dunking over. And he was doing the same every time he got the ball against the US in the Olympics in the third or fourth quarters. He was scoring. Every time.
Do you think though Did you see any? I wonder if you saw any anxious, young, confident energy from him in the goal game. Like to me, he still has that 19-year-old confident energy, but it's like a nervous confident. Like he knows he could do his thing, but he like wants to try to get it done before anyone can try to stop him. Like he seems to move a little too fast sometimes. He doesn't seem like he has like that methodical, like calm confidence to him. Yeah. Your thoughts, Paul?
He needs to get the ball even more. Treat him like a superstar.